Hello everyone, I am Dr. Gnanakunalan Roshan, currently reading MBA at University of Bedfordshire through the Oxford College of Business Studies, Sri Lanka. My current model is Digital Technology Management, and for that second assignment, I am doing this presentation, which is about the ERP system concept design for Northern Central Hospital Private Limited, Sri Lanka. So first, let's look at the outline of this presentation. First, we will look at the background of the institution, and then we'll see about the ERP implementation process, and then we'll look at some concept designs, then data flow diagrams, then some of the user interface sketches, then we'll do the system analysis and design challenges, and finally the references will be listed out. First, let's look at the background of this institution. Northern Central Hospital is one of the leading private hospitals with a modern facility in the northern province of Sri Lanka. The northern province of Sri Lanka was affected by a long-running civil war for about 30 years. This ended in 2009. But Northern Central Hospital did was, it is the first private hospital to modernize and improve quickly, and due to that, it has reached to these standards up to now. There are no other private health institution which has such capacities and facilities in this region. So in our previous assignment, we have listed out and analyzed the SIS opportunities which can help in a competitive advantage. And we have used the strategic thrust model and then Porter's 5 forces analysis to find out the competitive advantages and the current market trends. And from this, what we have figured out is that for this hospital, we are proposing the ERP system which is named Arogya. Arogya means overall well-being in Sanskrit. Arogya ERP will be an overall solution for all the management functions. Let's see what is an ERP. Enterprise Resource Planning is an integrated set of software modules linked to a centralized database and handling basic corporate functions. For a proper planning and implementation of ERP system are necessary in order to enhance the strategic value of the organization. So the implementation must be done properly to get the best outcome of it. So let's see how it can be implemented. This can be implemented according to Steves and Bohor's classification of ERP lifecycle framework, can be in 3 phases, which is the pre-implementation phase, implementation phase, and post-implementation phase. Out of all these 3 phases, pre-implementation phase and the post-implementation phase are the very crucial phases. Let's briefly look out what are these phases. Pre-implementation process can have activities such as planning of technology introduction, deciding the role of the staff, preliminary training, planning the logistic of the changes. Because of this change, this phase must be planned and carried out properly. If not, the whole implementation process might be affected. This pre-implementation phase will impact very much in the whole implementation process and the outcome of this ERP system. We can implement the ERP system all at once, or we can go gradually in a phasic manner. In an institution such as this Northern Central Hospital, which is a moderately large private hospital, all the basic core functions of the ERP system can be introduced all at once. Then we can upgrade or introduce new additional services in a later time. So the implementation phase cannot be predicted accurately because it can take more time than what we have planned, and it is difficult to identify the end of this process also. So when we are implementing, we have to be very careful, and when we are implementing when all at once, the proper pre-implementation phase must be there to the success of the implementation phase. So even after implementing, it does not end there. According to Natal, concerns relating to ERP system implementation do not end once the system becomes operational. It continues. Post-implementation phase is also a very crucial phase. In this phase, there are some critical processes such as testing the system for effectiveness, checking reliability, data integrity, system utilization, accessing and evaluating the benefits of the system implementations must be done. Now let's go to the next stage. Let's look at some concept designs of this Arogya ERP system. For the Arogya ERP system to function, we need some specific data requirements. Let's list out some of these data. For example, general information of the patients are needed, such as name, age, date of birth, gender, address, national identity card number, contact number, email address. Then health information of the patients are also needed. Those are weight, height, blood group, blood pressure, pulse rate, details of allergies, and past history, which is a complete past history. It must include appointments, past procedures, medical reports. If we can get all this data into our system, it will be very easy for us to get a good outcome out of this system. And if we are planning to introduce health insurance plans, we must know the health insurance policies of the patients also. Then next, we need the details of the doctors. Name, their basic information, then their specialty, their advanced schedule, their date and time when they will be available for the appointments, the maximum number of patients they can see per visit, the special requirements of the doctors, the payment details of the doctors, and the Doc 990 ID number. We will look at this a little bit in detail when we are talking later. Doc 990 is a third-party e-channeling service system. By integrating this third-party e-channeling system, we can get a lot of benefit out of this. Then for the staff payroll, we need the name of staff, staff ID number, category of staff, salary structure of different category of staff also needed. For the billing and payment, we need the pricing structure, payment options such as cash, credit card, or any other payment methods, or details of the insurance policy and company if they are claiming for the insurance. And let's look at some of the specific features of our Arogya ERP system. Here I have listed out some of the features, but there are more features than this also. So let's see. Smooth patient registration. This means ability to compile and store all the relevant details of the patients, and the registration process will be a breeze for the receptionist. Comprehensive electronic health records can be created through these details of the patients, and by compiling all this data, patients are very much relieved by not carrying the bulky healthy records every time they come for an appointment to the doctor. Real-time appointment scheduling, e-channeling and telemedicine facilities through the integration of Doc 990, which I talked a little bit earlier. The Doc 990, a third-party e-channeling app. So by integrating that, we can get all their features into our system. Real-time inventory management and consumption tracking, health insurance claim service integration, effortless staff payroll management system, comprehensive expense tracking and management. And from all these data gathered, our Arogya ERP system can create and generate some of the information. Let's look at what are the information that are generated by our Arogya ERP. Detailed profile of the patients. The data which we input to the system, it can analyze and it can view, it can show us in a detailed graphs, easy to visualize and easy to understand formats. And comprehensive electronic health records for each patient. All the details, past procedures, everything will be in a electronic digital format, which will be easy for the patient and as well as for the doctor also. Real-time dashboard, as I told earlier, dashboards, not only about patients, but all the details, HR details, payment details, expenses, everything can be visualized in a dashboard format. Trend and demand of the customers, detailed profile of the consultants and the doctors, detailed appointment scheduling and profile, salary details of each staff according to the work done, real-time stock levels of inventory, insurance claims processing, detailed expense reports. Such features, such information can be generated through our Arogya ERP system. And let's look at some possible uses. This can be receptionists, doctors, nursing officers, health assistants, pharmacists, dispensers, lab technicians, patients through the Doc 990 mobile app, billing staff, storekeepers, admin staff, finance staff, administrators, and also IT technicians. So what are the specific hardware requirements? Before the hardware requirements, we need some special subscriptions. For a company such as this Northern Central Hospital, it would be ideal to use a cloud-based system for the server. For that, we need a subscription for the cloud server storage for about at least minimum of 5 terabytes of data of storage. Then we need a high-speed internet connection and antivirus subscriptions and some Windows licenses for the systems and computers that we have. And for the hospital portals, say the receptionist, doctor's portal, or the other staff's portal, we need a basic acceptable level of hardware such as Intel Core i3, 8 GB RAM, fast Ethernet, LCD monitor. Space-saving footprint would be very beneficial, Windows 10 license, and 500 GB of SSD storage. And for the admin portals or for the IT portals, it needs a little bit oomph for the system to run. So we need at least an i5 Intel Core i5 processor, 16 GB of RAM, fast Ethernet connection, LCD monitor, same space-saving footprint would be welcomed, Windows 10 license, and 500 GB of SSD drive. And in addition to these hardware systems, we also need some peripherals and accessories, such as a 24-port managed switch for connectivity and network monitoring, external hard disks for data backup, connectivity cables, A4 laser printer for laboratory results and patient discharge summary, 24-wire dot matrix printer for billing department, barcode printer and barcode scanner, and other accessories and peripherals such as sensors to detect CO2, smoke, indoor air quality, or any other sensors can be welcomed also. Now let's look at the data flow diagram. For this purpose, first let's look at the level 0 context level data diagram. Here the patients do not directly connect with our system. The patients come to the receptionist and they will tell the information to the receptionist. Then the receptionist request for an appointment. The patients usually come for the appointment to the doctor. So the receptionist will request for an appointment to the system. The system then can approve or deny the request. The receptionist then can convey that information to the patient. Then the doctors also can see what are the scheduled appointments that they have with their patients. And they can also view the digital health records of the patients also. Pharmacists, on the other hand, or the storekeepers, dispensers can see the inventory details and the current stock levels of this of the medicines and supplies which they have in our system. Admin can view all these activities and can monitor all these activities. For examples, I have mentioned here, the ERP system can be divided into appointment module, inventory management module, payroll management module, expense tracker module. But in this context, I have only taken the appointment module and the inventory management module. Level 1 data flow diagram, we will look at the appointment module only because of the time constraints. We will just look at the appointment module only. Here, how the data flows is the patient comes and the patient information is given to the receptionist. Then the receptionist enters the information and registers the patient as a new patient into the system. These information will be stored into the database, the patient records database, and then the patient's profile can be created. From this database, the profile can be created. After the successful registration, the patient profile is created. Then the patient's profile can be edited, modified by the receptionist or even by the admin or admin side also. This patient profile can be modified, and the updated information will be sent to the patient's record database. When after the profile is created, the patient, that means through the receptionist, can book an appointment. They can request for an appointment. When we take a look at this 1.4, level 1.4 appointment booking process, what happens is when a request for an appointment comes, the availability of the slots is checked against the appointment records database. If there's available slot, then it will be it can be viewed by the receptionist, and the patients can see the options that they have. The specialty of this Arogya ERP system is the integration of Doc 990 services. This is a third-party e-channeling service, as I mentioned before. By integrating that, we have the accessibility to their database. So we can get the data from their database, and it will be easy for us to upgrade our appointment records database as well. We won't be getting the data of the other institutions, but we can be getting the information of the Northern Central Hospital, and this database will be updated at all times. So when the receptionist gives the options of the available slots, the patient can decide which appointment they want to need, and the confirmation is they confirm it by the payment. They first do the payment, they request for the payment, and the payment process is will be checked and verified, and if the payment is confirmed, then the updated confirmed appointment will be entered into the appointments record database. This is how the patient's view starts and ends at the patient's record. And if you see through the doctor's view, the doctors can request the scheduled appointments for them. They can request directly to the appointments records through their portals, and they can see what are the appointments and what time slots and what dates that they have appointments. And the doctors also has the ability to see the patient's record database and request the patient's digital health record. The doctors can request only the treating patient's digital health records, not all the patient's records. Once the appointment has been confirmed, then the doctor has the access level to get the digital record of those particular patients only. So when they request those details, the patient records will be available for the doctors and they can view. Then let's look at some user interface sketches. These interfaces are made using the PowerPoints, just using the basic shapes, and let's go through one by one. This is the proposed interface of the Arogya ERP system, and this would be the comprehensive real-time dashboard of that system, which shows the new patients, appointment details, admission details, how many reports done on that day, how many staff are available at that moment in the hospital, and average treatment cost for an appointment or a procedure or any other average treatment cost can be displayed here. And here the data can be analyzed and viewed as graph, easy for understanding. Here the outpatient versus inpatient trends for the previous months have been displayed here, and here the inpatient and outpatient ratio is shown in the pie diagram, and the male versus female patients details are shown in this pie diagram. And here for that particular day, the number of patients registered at the receptionist can be seen in this graph, and there can be another option to view the patient details as per the units that they were requesting appointments. We can see how many patients came for general medicine, OPD, pediatrics. Likewise, we can see the different number of patients coming and registering for the in our hospital. Next, we'll see the patients portal, patients tab, sorry. Here we can see all the patients that are registered today or interacted today with the system. With the serial number and the national identity card number, we can search and find out easily the patient's detail and the profile. We can get the profile. And here we can see some of those graphs shown in this area also. So when we select one of the patients, we can go into their personal profile. This is some sort of like a profile, health profile of the patients. It is also the digital health record of the patient. This will have the basic information, the health information of the patients, and also the allergies are highlighted prominently here so that there won't be any errors, medicinal errors here. And then the past histories, all the appointment details, all the procedures, surgeries, all will be here with details, and the lab reports that can be also entered into the profile. From this profile only, as we discussed earlier, from this profile only, the patient or the receptionist, in reality the receptionist can book an appointment for this particular patient. So when they book an appointment, it will be integrated into the Doc 990 service. So through the Doc 990, the doctors available at the hospital can be listed out. And from this search menu, the doctors can be searched by name or specialty even. And then after finding out a specific doctor, then we can go to the appointment and see what are the available slots on that particular day. And the patient can book or can deny or go for another doctor as per the patient's request. Once the payments are confirmed, the booking can be confirmed as well. Now let's look at some of the system analysis and design challenges when implementing this ERP system. The main important challenges is the resistance to change. In reality, implementing a new ERP is not an easy task. It must be done. It is a very delicate task and it must be done properly. According to Naguer, the introduction of ERP system often results in key organizational changes, which, if not managed carefully, can result in conflict within an organization. Because the staff are very much comfortable with their old legacy systems, they will be very reluctant to change to a new system. So we have to motivate them and we have to find ways to get them into this new ERP system. Other factors found to affect the effectiveness of ERP system implementation includes external consultant support, knowledge transfer, and the technical aspects knowledge transfers, all of which are essential during an implementation process. So let's see how we can overcome these challenges. Hands-on workshop during the pre-implementation phase to understand the system will be a very crucial and a very successful activity. Before even implementing, we can get down this different category of staffs, and we can do a pilot study like thing and introduce them to the different features and facilities of this new ERP system. When they have a hands-on experience with this new system and how easy it is to do these systems, they will easily come about this new implementation. And according to VORA, sustainable change management lessons includes understanding AMA, that is the ability, motivation, and attitudes, and engage 3 H's, heart, head, and hands. And with the proper leadership, this can be implemented in the Northern Central Hospital and will gain a significant competitive advantage in this segment and in this private health institutional industry. So now let's look at some of the reference. These are the reference I have listed out that I used for this presentation, and the detailed organized notes is also submitted in the Brio, and additional diagrams, interfaces, and graphs are also available in that organized notes. Thank you so much for listening and have a nice day. Thank you.